G'day everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at some case prep. And case prep is probably the most tedious, boring, time-consuming bit of the whole reloading process. It's a bit that nobody wants to do, but apart from putting all the bits together, it's probably the most essential bit because it pertains to safety and it pertains to cartridge life, etc, etc, but that's all for other videos. Alright, case prep, a lot of hand tools, little tiny purpose hand tools, shampoo deburring tool, that, as you see, very labour intensive. You're doing for your primer pockets. You put, lucky enough, you can unscrew that, whack it in a little power drill and spin it around in a power drill and do that. But again, labour intensive, time consuming, okay, and it's good for filling a rainy day, but that's about it. So what can we do? What can we do to avoid that? Got myself one of these, a Lyman Case Prep Express. Got that from Cleaver Firearms at Redcliffe. At the time of production, they got them on special for about $335 from memory. I paid for that. So I've heard some good reviews about it. A couple of mates have got them and reckon they're pretty good, so I'm going to have a crack at it. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing and we'll see what's in the box, and we'll fire it up and have a quick go of it. All right. I took the liberty of unboxing it off camera because watching unboxing videos is just ridiculous. So our machine, that's our machine. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little stations at the top. You have a little brass brush there, and you'll see how this all works in a moment. Little art brush or whatever, brass brush. That will sit in there. Little catching for all your brass filings. You can brush them into there in the bin. You've got some little stations there for just storing bits and pieces you don't need. Got our 240 cable, comes with a bit of ultra fine dry case neck lube, and our little parts. We've got a couple of neck brushes, 4 little neck brushes, our deburrer and chamfering tools, and it all comes with large and small primer pocket cleaners, large and small primer pocket uniformers, and the one that I'm quite interested in is the large and small primer pocket reamers. And that will get the factory crimp out of military brass, and we'll revisit that in a short amount of time. Comes with a reasonably comprehensive set of instructions, and as a bonus, they're in English, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to set this up and see where we go from here. Incidentally, before I change to the next little bizzo, these little tools all coincidentally have the same thread as a cleaning rod. There we go. That's a Hops cleaning rod. Same thread, same thread. So whether that's by design or good luck, who knows? But either way, just another little feature it's got. So I'm going to set this up and we'll go from there. All right, we've set our machine up. We've set our workstation area up, if you like, and we do that in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got our small primer pocket cleaner, primer pocket uniformer, primer pocket reamer to remove military crimp, and again we'll come back to that in a sec. We've got our inside chamfering tool, outside deburring tool. Okay. We've got our power cord plugged in at the back there, and we've got an on-off switch over this side. Now, first thing you notice when you pick this thing up, I'll just touch on this before we get moving, is the weight of it. It's quite bulky, it's quite sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap at all, like some of these things that feel light and flimsy and rattly. This doesn't feel like that at all. It feels very well made, very sturdy. And the other thing you notice, have a look under here, you've got 6 of these little rubber feet around the bottom. You can see that, 2, 4, 6. And you sit him down there and he doesn't want to move. So that's a good thing. All right. So we've got all our stuff we're not using around the outside, a little brush, but one extra. There's 5 and 6 is 11. You've got 12 bits for it. So there we go. We have our little brass catcher there, which we'll see how that works all in a minute. He'll just sit there and he'll let us just sweep our brass up like that. So what brass am I going to do? I've picked up some 300 blackout brass. It's once fired training brass from somewhere. It was a mixed bag of ADI, Barnes and Hornady. The Hornady brass, which this is, I hope you can see that. On the edge there, up on the edge there is a little, that's the crimp. That's the military crimp. You will not get a primer in that. So what we're going to do, we're going to give these, the whole process, we'll do them all. These have been full length resized and their length's fine. So what we're going to do, we'll give these the run through and see how we go. Turn him on, and that's how she works. Nice and quiet. Everything turns anti-clockwise at a predetermined speed. Okay? So you basically just go round the circuit. Now you can see that doesn't want to go in there because that's got the crimp in it, so we'll have to ream that one first. This is always going to be the hardest one because you're basically cutting a lot of brass out of that. It's pretty much gone, I think. It doesn't hurt to turn them a bit. These still got remnants of lube and shit all over them, so they're a bit hard to hang on to. Okay, so we can get the cleaner in there now. Yeah, that's better. He's good. Once he can go in there, he's fine. We'll put the uniformer in. There we go. There we go. That's a primer pocket done. Inside chamfer, outside deburr. Next please. That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's fine. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to stop that and I'm going to change the order of those because we're going to have to do, if you're going to do the reaming, you've got to do that first. Okay, so that's got to be done first because nothing will get in there if that crimps there. And that's if you change the order to suit you. You might want to go counterclockwise. You want to go up, down, all around, X pattern, whatever. There we go. I've got that wrong. There we go. That's better. And this is just a matter of getting used to how everything works. You can see how much brass just come out of that crimp. Just cutting that crimp out. You can see how much brass come out of there. We'll fire him up. That's better. Slowly. Don't be afraid to rock them backwards and forwards. Get that out, that's fine for that crimp. You don't need to give them a real long chamfer. And there we go. That's as good as gold. That's fine. There we go. So I'll just do the rest of these and we'll get back. Alrighty. That will be another one. Now these, you can always tell they're crimped because they will not fit on your primary uniformer, pocket uniform. So crimp him, cut the crimp out, then you go over your cleaner, and then go over your uniformer. Nicely, he's done. Now a little trick you can do if you really want to, you can actually knock the crimp out with your inside chamfering tool. It goes, and knock the crimp out. There we go, perfect. But you got a pocket reamer, why wouldn't you use it? All right, so when we finished our trimming, now you can see all the brass that gets cut off from this. Just gently sweeping around here, away from all your little work trees and little drives, etc. Off all your little tools. You want a nice little sweep. And rather than having this go all over your bench and all over your floor and all that, just gently sweeping off into there, off into your little brass catcher down the chute. and that little fella, you just pull him off like that and into the bin. All right, so it's essentially our Lyman Case trimmer. So I'll wrap this one up. Right, Lyman Case Prep Express, powered case prep station, done and dusted. In short, love it. Bought this thing, sick of doing that boring, tedious, labour intensive, doing everything by hand. Case trimming, case prep, whatever you want to call it, it's part of the reloading process. Nobody likes doing it, but unfortunately you've got to do it, and that's just the way it is. This makes it just that little bit easier, and you can sit there and have a couple of tubes and listen to the cricket. You can't really do yourself any damage. The way the thing works, you can set it up for yourself in an order that you like, and you can do it the way you want to do it without too much dramas. Okay, everything's all finger tight. You don't need tools, need nothing, and it's a nice sturdy unit, and it's a nice easy cleanup. You haven't got brass and shit all over the floor, so it's a win-win. So I'm going to put this one to bed. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoy making these videos. Please check my channel out. If you like it, subscribe. That'd be really cool. Give this video the thumbs up if you got something out of it. And I'm going to put this one to bed. So yeah, if you want one of these, go and grab them at the time of production. I think Cleveland's still got them on special for $3.35. That's not a bad buy. These are mid to high fives around the place. So, but shop around. You never know your luck in the big city. I can highly recommend this. And full disclosure, this is mine. I bought it out of my own hard-earned, and I'll give it an honest go and an honest review. With all the things I've got, it's all mine. I don't endorse anybody, and if it's good, it's good. If it's shit, it's shit, and I'll tell you straight up. So there we go. So I'm going to put this one to bed. You can tell your wife, you can tell your girlfriend, you can tell them both. It don't matter to me. You just go 2 clicks up. Ta-da.